So what's up, everybody? It's BSP here at George Miyoko Station. So this is my second leg. I call it the second leg of hanging out with my friend that came from the States, hanging out with Mufassa that came all the way from the U.S. here. I'm heading to Fukui and Fukuoka. These are going to be the first time I've been to both prefectures, so I'm adding two more prefectures to my places I've been in Japan, and that's going to put me at 26 prefectures, seeing out of 47 in Japan. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited, man. Also, a big thing too is the Dodgers just won Game 3, so now we're up 3-0. And tomorrow we're going to be at a sports bar. I'm trying to hit up the MLB Cafe in Fukuoka tomorrow, but we'll see if I can get in there. If not, I'm going to hit up somewhere else. But I'm going to be watching the game at a sports bar tomorrow with my Otani gear on and everything. I'm ready to win that World Series. I actually call this series in 7. This could still go 7. I'm not knocking the Yankees out. The Yankees are not done yet. These are both two very good ball clubs. However, the Yankees are having some issues with hitting. The Dodgers pitching has really stepped up, and that was the main thing that I was concerned about. So, but our pitching has stepped up, so there you go. So here's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna stop in Fukui for almost 2 hours. I told JR when I bought my tickets that I'm gonna need to stop in Fukui for 2 hours, and so I got the first leg tickets right here. This one is heading over to Suga Station. I'm sitting in car number 8, seat 6E, straight to Suruga. It's going to take me a good 2 hours to get to Suruga, from 2 hours and 2 minutes from George Miyoko to Suruga. And then I'm going to chill in Suruga area around the station, Fukui-ken. Suruga, I believe, is in Fukui City. I'll know more when I get there. I don't know much about Fukui. I know Fukui is the dinosaur capital in Japan. I know that I'm going to take my kids there, my wife and kids there. One of my trips to check out the dinosaurs. We're probably going to take the train like we're doing now, or I think we're going to drive, because we got to drive over there, and it's a little bit of a hike to get to that museum from the station. So we'll probably drive down there and just stay for like a nice 3-day weekend in Fukui. But anyway, after that, I'm going to be heading over to Shinosaka. My next train will be at 5:14. Catching a Thunderbird. I'm not crazy about the Thunderbird. It's not the Shinkansen. And my last time I was on Thunderbird, I was kind of like thrown off because I didn't have any place to plug my power in from my phone. But I've since bought me a power box. I do have a hot box, which is 100% charged now. So I'll charge my phone on the Shinkansen on the way down to Suruga, and then when I get, I have two phones. So when I get to Shinosaka, on the way there, my power box should do me fine if I need the power there, which that should be okay. You know, I got this little iPhone Pro 14. I'm not really crazy about it, so I'm going to give me a new 16 here as soon as I can. So anyway, yeah. So going down. So what I'm going to tell you guys is this. So in my communications with Mufassa, we've been talking every day since he's been in Fukuoka. We hooked up in Tokyo, of course. He got into Tokyo on the 15th of October, and I got there the 16th that afternoon, and we hung out until I left on the 21st. He hung out to the 23rd, and then he went to Fukuoka that day. So he was thinking at first about leaving Fukuoka a little bit earlier, because he was like, I don't know if there's a lot to do, but he found out real quick there is a lot to do, as I knew it would be. And now he's going to stay there because he's going to be there for a little bit over 2 weeks in Fukuoka. So now my plans is I'm going to be in Fukuoka until the 3rd. So I'm leaving in the morning of the 3rd of November, and then going to come back home for the rest of the week. And then Saturday the 9th, I'm going to head out to Osaka to hook up with Mufassa there. And then we're going to be in Osaka 3 nights. And then straight from Osaka on the 12th, we're going to head to Tokyo. And on that last leg, I would call it leg 4. Because Osaka's leg 3, and then Mufassa is going to be heading out on the 16th. I do have some commitments on. I may be able to hook up with one of my cousins on the 16th. He wanted to hook up on the 15th, but we're going to hit up with Punk on the 15th, so I didn't want to drag him out on the 15th, because we're looking for, like, going to a couple clubs and hanging out. And my cousin's newly married, and his new wife may not really want to I don't know, they don't really mind, but it's not something that he's probably looking forward to doing right now. So anyway, that's what's going to happen there. I will be, I'm going to get back home on the 16th of November. And then I have a good friend of mine coming in from Guam. I'm going to hook up with him him and his family, December 6th to the 8th. I was going to take my family there, but my son's got some commitments he needs to take care of. And so I thought about bringing my daughter with me, and my wife was brought up something. She said, well, I don't know how she's going to be at night. And then I thought about it again. I said, well, yeah, plus her meals, because my daughter's a very finicky eater right now at 3 years old. I just can't take her to a restaurant when we say, okay, hey, baby, what I'm eating, because she may not do that. And I need to make sure she gets fed well. And my wife has a system down for that. I mean, I feed her well, too, when I'm with her by myself. But when I'm at home, it's a lot easier because I can always whip up something for her real quick that I know she likes. But going to these restaurants and whatnot, it's kind of hard to figure things out with her. So probably another few months, probably 6 months, when she's a lot more aware of what's out there, then she'll be like, oh no, Daddy, I want this, or Mommy, I want that. So whatever. So that's what my plans look like all the way up until December 8th. I did want to go to the Incognito concert with Mesa. That was going to be coming in on the 20th at Takasaki. And then that weekend, the 21st to the 22nd, that weekend they're going to be at the Blue Note in Tokyo. But I was going to take my family on that, but then my wife said, hey, we got some scheduling issues. I said, so can't do that. And my wife reminded me too that we're moving next month on the 27th, and we also have to get buy some appliances next month when I get back. So we're going to start talking to the appliance guy here sometime next week. Also, guys, just want to remind you got the big election coming up next week in the U.S. So that's a big one, and for us here in Japan too, because we always concern ourselves with what's going on in the U.S. because if Trump gets in office, I know he's going to want Japan to pay more, and Japan just elected against the majority party here, who is mostly pro-U.S. military, although the new Prime Minister Ishiba, I may have said Ishida on the other video, but it's Ishiba, he's got a little bit of a radical view toward the American military as well as the other parties. So we're going to see how that works. They just want the Americans to share more in the cost, which I know is not going to happen because America doesn't have the money to foot the bill to keep these military installations over here. Like the Japanese don't even really have it either, but they're so far in debt. I think the Japanese like 200-something% in debt. But the only good silver lining for that, not even the silver lining, but the only good thing about that is Japan borrows from itself. It doesn't borrow from anybody else. So that's what that is. Now, so I want to touch base a little bit more on I know I've been talking about this visa thing lately, and I'm responding to a comment because I pay attention to my comments on one gentleman got up here and said that $18,000 a month seems like a lot of money, and he's probably right. But we did see that property up there. It's no longer on that website. It was in a place called Nakameguro, which is right near Ebisu, which is a really good location in Tokyo. But then I started looking around. I noticed that they had this is going to cost you 7,000 to 8,000 yen a day. Some cost you 11,000 yen a day. They do it by month, but then they always break it down by day. So that some place came out to be about like 350, 360, 400,000, 500,000 yen a month. It just depends. So it's not as expensive as it seems, but it's still way more expensive than what you would normally pay on a long-term deal here in Japan. One thing I want to say too about that Leo Palace and about the visitor visa thing, and I also mentioned the startup visa that you can do. Look, not everybody's going to be able to do that startup visa. Okay, that's a really hard one there. You have to have a business. You have to have a successful business. You have to have money. You have to have a good business plan, solid business plan. So like I said, that is probably not going to be the way to go for the average person. Like my friend Mufassa, he has a successful business in the U.S. that he's been running for 20 years, and he's on his own schedule, his own time. He's still taking care of his clients. I know he still works with his clients while he's in Japan. But that's an established business. If you are just trying to, and they say startup in Japan, but let me work on this. Let me rephrase what I'm trying to say here. So yeah, startup in Japan as in you are going to come to Japan to start a business that you yourself already have experience running. To me, that's the best way to do it. You come over here and you want to say you want to start up, I want to start this business up, doing this, doing that, the other, that you don't really have a clue on. You need to have a good business plan, because if you have the experience with your startup, then you're gonna know what to do, and that's the way it works. You're gonna know what to do if you have a good experience with your startup. So, like for example, everybody knows that when you start a business, I know this is how it is in the U.S. Your business runs a risk of going out of business the first 3 years. If you can get past the first 3 years of running your business, that means you're pretty much going to be successful. You got the situation figured out. Okay, and keep in mind, most of these businesses that you're going to start over here, they're not brick and mortar. I mean, like I said, you don't need the 5 million yen to start everything. You don't need all this money. You just have to have a solid business plan. And like I want to add in there, you need to know exactly what you're doing, and you need to feel comfortable in your business environment and your way of gaining business. See, and another thing I want to say too, I know some people get over here and say, well, hey, I think I'm gonna try this, I think I'm gonna try that. Well, in Japan, any niche market that you ever thought about has already been tried. Okay, so you're just bringing more business to the business is what you need to understand. So when you come here and you do your startup or whatnot, starting meaning, like I said, startup in Japan, because it's not a startup, it's starting up in Japan. When you do that, you need to understand that you're going to have some competition. You're going to have competition, and not just from Japan. You're going to have competition from all over the world. So you just can't come here and say, oh, okay, I'm going to start this fingernail polish business or this nail salon or whatever, and just have people come to my place where I'm at and do professional nail salons. Well, guess what? There's somebody from China's already got that business started. Somebody from Korea's already started. Somebody from Brazil's already started. Somebody from Israel's already started. You have to come here under the auspices that everything that you're thinking about has already been tried and done and is being done right now, and that you yourself will need to understand that there will be competition in what you're trying to do. Okay, I need you to know that. So, yeah, you don't need the 5 million yen, but what I recommend too is that you need to, though, make sure that you have the funds available that can get you through. Because keep in mind, when you start the business up in the U.S., right, for the first 3 years, you have a higher chance of losing your business. Well, you also have to make sure you have funds. So when you come to Japan, you want to make sure you have enough funds to be able to survive the pitfalls here that may happen as you're trying to vamp up. And also keep in mind too, the Japanese government are going to be digging in your ass every month trying to find out and make sure that you are on point and what you're doing with your business. Because it's still kanji proper belief. It is not easy to live over here in Japan, or to get to live. I'm not living, but to get to live here in Japan. It's not easy to do that. You have to really be persistent, and you have to be consistent on working your business. You just can't be like, okay, well, I got to start. I'm just going to chill. You guys, there's no chill time. So my advice to you, when you come over here and you're trying to get this business started, don't think about chill time your first 3 years. Just think about taking it each and every day, working on your business each and every day. If you don't even get a day off those 3 years, so fucking what? As long as your business is going to be successful, then you'll be able to do what you got to do later on. But you got to come over here. Your head's got to be down. Your head's got to be on the swivel, down, and you got to be thinking on your feet 24/7 over here in order for you to make that business successful. Right? So like I said, you may be successful in the U.S. or UK or France or whatever you're trying to come from, or China, or Korea even. But when you get to Japan, that's going to take on a whole different animal, and you have to make sure that you are going to be successful here in Japan, and it's going to take some work. It's going to take work. You're not just going to get off there and say, oh, I got the next thing in there. Look at me, I'm doing good. You may even get in there and you may be doing good for the first maybe 6 months, a year in Japan. And then all of a sudden some things happen that cause you to go backwards. There's so many things you have to look at running a business here. Sometimes things don't always go the way you plan. Now, I ran a business here in Japan, I would say from 87 to 92. So for 5 years, I ran an English teaching business. Shinkansen on his way to Tokyo, so that's where I'm going, but now I'm going the opposite way to Suruga, so I'm gonna pass some nice places, man. Toyama Station, Kanazawa Station, Fukui Station, Suruga, so that's where I'm going. But anyway, like I said, so yeah, I had a business for 5 years, and
for me, I didn't even have a business plan when I started. I didn't have a business plan, nothing. I just knew that if I can talk, I can make money. And I did, and I made money, and I made good money for 5 years. I was able to put good savings. When I got out there, when I separated from the Air Force, I had a good little chunk of change. I went back to the States. So my biggest mistake for me was, of course, I didn't want to keep running the business when I got back. I literally tried to pass the business off to somebody else in Okinawa when I left, but they didn't stay with it because they had other obligations too. So you can be successful here in Japan. You just have to understand that there is an awful lot of competition, and you have to have a solid plan. You have to put together a solid business plan. You have to stick with your business plan. If you deviate from your business plan when they check you every month, then that's going to be a problem. The Japanese will be like, well, you just bullshitting around. You can't. We're going to just turn this, because they start you off at 6 months. See how you do, and then that 6 months gets extended to a year. See how you do, and then you go from there. So I just wanted to point that out. So anyway, think about that. This is BSP up here on my way to Hakata Station in Fukuoka for the first time, and Fukui for the first time in my life in Japan, picking up 2 more prefectures. This is going to be my 62nd time riding this Shinkansen. So I'm going to pick up a few more times down, because I got to go from here, and then with Shin Osaka, it's going to be my 63rd time getting on the Shinkansen, because so I'm going to catch 2 different Shinkansen lines. So anyway, this is BSP Japan. Go Dodgers. I'm out. I'll talk to you guys when I get to